Violet. Paul's voice trails after me, confused. Where were the kisses and sweet talk he was expecting? I'm taking a shower. Brew some coffee for me, will you, darling? I toss back, shooting him a playful glance from under my lashes. It works like magic. Paul practically drools at the sight of me walking away, naked and unbothered. I toss my hair over my shoulder and march toward the bathroom, only to slam right into a guy standing there, mouth hanging open. Security. I wonder, mentally smacking my forehead for forgetting that Max's bodyguards sometimes roam the house in the morning. At ease, soldier. I joke, waving him off and strutting past. Dad. Why are there naked skanks walking around your house? Dad. My brain screeches to a halt. What the actual hell? I duck behind the nearest corner, peeking to see what's happening. Max, my shiny new husband, has already pulled on a pair of boxers and steps into the hallway, squaring his shoulders like a true alpha male. Sam, what did you just say? His voice is sharp, full of authority. The redhead. She ran that way. The kid points. Right at me. Great. I plaster myself against the wall. There are no women of questionable morals in this house, Max says sternly. But I just saw. Forget what you saw, he orders, folding his arms across his broad chest. My husband looks hot when he's angry. That's your stepmother, you little rascal. I'll introduce you properly soon. Stepma. Sam spits the word out like it tastes rotten, glaring suspiciously in my direction. I pull my head back, wishing I could just vanish into thin air. Violet, darling, Max calls out. There's a robe for you in the bathroom. I heard you. I hiss, slithering into the bathroom and locking the door behind me. I step under the rain shower, letting the warm water wash over me. And where the hell did that giant sun come from? I mutter to myself, scrubbing away the awkwardness. Family breakfast, my ass. I squirm in my chair under Sam's frosty glare. Turns out, Max adopted him after the death of some close friends. At 22, Sam's already a full-grown man, and not even pretending to hide how much he despises me. The moment Max steps out to take a phone call, Sam locks his icy blue eyes on me. I sip my coffee and casually scroll through my phone, pretending not to notice. You think you hit the jackpot, huh? He sneers. Snagged yourself a rich old guy and now you're living the dream. I lift an eyebrow, giving him a slow, unimpressed glance. Let's see what else he's got. I know your type, he spits. Wave some cash in your face and you'll do anything. So tell me, how much do you charge for a night? He leans closer, gripping my knee hard enough to bruise. Oh honey, you messed with the wrong woman today. I set my coffee cup down with a soft clink. Then, with a swift, practiced move, I grab his nose, twisting sharply like I'm screwing off a stubborn jar lid. Ack. You crazy bee asterisk, tis it. Let go. He yelps, squirming and trying to pry my hand off. I finally release him, pushing his face away like swatting an annoying fly. He stumbles back, muttering curses under his breath. Later, needing a breather, I excuse myself to powder my nose. The guest bathroom is pure luxury. Marble everywhere, shell-shaped sinks, and faucets triggered by motion sensors. I amuse myself by flicking the water on and off with a wave of my hand. That's when I hear the door creak open behind me. Damn it. Forgot to lock it. Margot stumbles in, smelling like a distillery, her lipstick smeared and her eyes glassy. There you are, darling, she slurs. Nice bracelet. She grabs my wrist, yanking it toward her face to get a better look. Gross. Her hands are cold and clammy. It feels like being touched by a corpse. The bracelet, an emerald-studded snake Max had gifted me just this morning, sparkles under the bathroom lights. Margot's eyes practically glow with greedy envy. You know, she hisses, still clutching my wrist painfully tight. Max could have any woman he wanted. What does he see in you? Keep my tone light. Love, maybe. She laughs bitterly. Or maybe you're just a good little thing in bed. Know some special tricks. Care to share? Her nails dig into my skin. That's it. I shove her backward with my free hand. Margot flails like a drunken scarecrow, arms pinwheeling. Her high heel slips on the marble floor. And with a spectacular crash, she lands flat on her back, limbs sprawled like a fallen starfish. I poke her with the toe of my shoe. No reaction. Crap. Hope I didn't kill her. That's when I hear it. Jesus Christ, stepmom. Sam stands in the doorway, staring at Margot's crumpled body. Apparently Diana, the office blonde, thought flashing a little cleavage would get her closer to Paul. Spoiler alert. It didn't. She started dressing more provocatively every day. Tighter skirts, lower necklines, practically throwing herself at him. And just when I was about to roll my eyes right out of my head, Brian stormed back from vacation. Brian, our head of security, everyone's favorite 6'3" walking testosterone bomb. He barreled into the reception area, whistling loud enough to make the windows rattle. Well, well, well. Now that's a proper welcome back, he barked. And what do we have here? Someone gifted me a little office treat while I was gone. Before Diana could react, Brian plopped his hands firmly on her assets, giving them an exaggerated squeeze. He growled, pretending to savor it. Juicy. Let's test drive this little gift, sweetheart. He gave her a solid smack on the backside, steering her toward his office. Move those pretty legs, cupcake. Come on, hup hup. Diana squealed, spinning around, eyes wide with panic. Ms. Violet. Help. Tell him I'm not that kind of girl. I shrugged dramatically, struggling to keep a straight face. Honestly, Diana, I don't even know what to say. Brian winked at me as he herded her down the hall. What a jerk, Benoit jerk. He knew exactly what he was doing. Poor Diana fled into the nearest bathroom, wailing like a banshee. Brian just plopped down on the office couch, cracking his knuckles like nothing happened. So, he said casually, how's the new trophy wife holding up? Max handed her to us like a welcome gift, I said, stretching my legs out gracefully. Be careful around Roman Carter, Brian added cryptically. When Brian gave warnings, you didn't ask for details. You just listened. After that little incident, Diana underwent a miraculous transformation. Goodbye, stilettos and bodycon dresses. Hello, modest blouses, knee-length skirts, and minimal makeup. Honestly, she looked way better. Less like a dollar store Barbie, more like a human being. For a while everything was calm. Paul flew off to St. Petersburg to close a major contract. The office buzzed quietly, people actually working instead of stirring drama. Until Diana burst into my office without knocking, pale as a sheet. There, she gasped, pointing wildly at my computer. I flinched, heart skipping. What now? IRS audit. Fire. Global economic collapse. The mailbox, she screeched, waving her arms like a drowning cat. At that point I realized, if Diana was this desperate, something big was happening. And I needed to know exactly how my darling husband would behave if temptation came knocking. Better to know now, I thought grimly, than to pretend later. After all, Paul wasn't some love-struck teenager. He was a grown man. If he couldn't handle a little temptation, better I find out sooner rather than later. Diana thought she was so clever. The sweet perfume. The tight pink blouse unbuttoned just enough. The shy glances under her fake lashes. Today was her big move. And I was ready for her. As Paul reviewed some contracts in his office, I sauntered past Diana's desk. New perfume? I asked sweetly, wrinkling my nose. My husband's allergic to citrus, you know. You better not get too close. Last time he had a reaction, he ended up in the hospital for 3 days. Diana's fake smile wobbled. Really? Anaphylactic shock, I whispered dramatically. Terrifying. I could almost see the panic fluttering behind her glued-on lashes. Inside Paul's office, the real game began. Paul, would you mind signing here? Diana purred, leaning over the desk so her cleavage practically spilled onto the papers. And here, she added breathily, flipping through the documents with shaking hands. Paul frowned, and his frown only deepened when he glanced down, straight at her not-so-subtle cleavage. Diana batted her lashes. I rolled my eyes so hard they nearly got stuck. Enough was enough. I slammed a thick folder onto the desk. "Diana," I said, voice sharp, "what is this mess?" She jumped, nearly dropping her pen. "You call this professional? There are errors all over these documents." I opened the folder and showed her the papers I'd marked with bright orange highlighter. Mistakes circled, notes scribbled in the margins. I checked everything," she stammered. "I swear." Paul's gaze darkened. He wasn't looking at her chest anymore. He was looking at the disaster she had handed him. "Get it corrected," I snapped. "And next time maybe focus more on your work, and less on your distractions." Diana wilted like a deflated balloon, gathering her papers in a frantic pile. As she scurried out, I caught Paul's eye. His mouth twitched, the faintest hint of a smile. Good boy, I thought, hiding my grin behind a sip of coffee. My husband wasn't an idiot. And thanks to a little friendly sabotage, neither was his new wife.